Hello friends, welcome to my channel. In today's video, we will learn how to set up Citrix provisioning services that is called Citrix PBS. So before setting up the lab, first we need to know what is Citrix provisioning services. So basically, it is a software streaming technology that delivers patches, updates, and other configuration information to multiple virtual desktop endpoints through a shared storage desktop image. Means with the help of PBS, we can easily deliver patches, updates, and other configuration with a shared desktop image. And the goal of Citrix provisioning services is to centralize virtual machine management and to reduce the operational and storage cost of the virtual desktop environment. So this is the basic definition. What is Citrix PBS? If you want to read more, you can explore it on over the internet. So now let me close it and let me show you my infra now. So as you can see, this is my domain controller. Let me log in. In my domain controller, I have set up a DSCP, DNS, and ADDS roles. Now, second machine is my delivery controller for Citrix, virtual apps, and desktop. And here I have created one site as Indore, and no machine catalog created so far. We will be not requiring those in this video. So this is just for your demonstration. Now coming to the hypervisor. So this is my hypervisor and I have created one Windows 10 machine and I have installed the VDA agent in that desktop operating system. So how to set up the machine catalogs, how to create the delivery groups, how to publish the applications, each and everything I have already explained in my multiple videos. So if you want to set up a site, if you want to create a machine catalog, for sure you can refer my videos. So now I have downloaded Citrix provisioning version 2203. So same, you have to download or you can go with the latest version, whatever is available. So when I was downloading on that time, that was the latest version. So now two things are required to set up the provisioning services. First one is SQL Server and second one is a DHCP scope. So as you can see, I have configured DHCP scope here in my domain controller. Let me open it. So first you have to modify some settings in your DHCP scope. So do right click on a scope. Go to the properties. No, that is not the correct option. Go to the server option, then configure options. And from here, we have to enable two port numbers known as 66 and 67 for a boot file. So let me locate those. So here is a port number 67, which is boot server host name. So in my case, I'm going to configure PBS on my domain controller itself. So I'm entering the IP address of my domain controller here. And 67 is for boot file name. So please do remember the name for boot file. It is very, very important for interview perspectives. So it's ARDBP32.win. Let me repeat it again. It's ARDBP32.win. So make sure to configure those entries properly. Now, click on apply and where it gone? Click on OK. So now we are good to run PBS console here on my domain controller. So before that, let me log into my SQL server and parallelly let me mount the ISO media for Citrix PBS. So let me change this here. Okay. And SQL server is initializing now. So let's wait for it to initialize. In between, our ISO media is mounted now. So just open it and run it. So as you can see, first we have to install the console. Second, we have to install the server. And third, we have to target the device. So, okay, SQL server is open now. So let me connect it. And as you can see, if I go to the database, 3 database already there for my Citrix Studio, like logging, monitoring, and site. Now, go to the console, click on the console installation. Okay, it will be requiring .NET 4.8. That means after that installation, we have to reboot the server. It's perfectly fine, no issue. Click on install and it will prompt you to reboot after the installation. So no worries. Let's wait for it. And in a meantime, let me connect to my Win 10 machine with the remote desktop console. Not from here. I want to take remote of this machine. 10.51 is the IP. And let me enter the password for this machine. Yes. So our machine, Win 10 machine is connected now to remote console. And if you can see here, so I have already installed the VDA agent in this machine, that is virtual delivery agent. So let me minimize this for now. And let's go back here, accept the license and click on install. So .NET 4.8 installation may take some time. So we have to wait. So guys, this is just an installation part. After the installation, I will cover the configuration part as well. If I go here, so as you can see, my Win 10 machine is getting IP from my DHCP scope, and Gen server 01 is also getting the IP from the same. Okay, so let's go back here. Still installing. So guys, installation may take some time. It's always take some time actually, and it's totally up to the hardware what you are using to set up the infra. So if I can show you my hardware, so as you can see into the performance, my CPU is i7 9th generation with 8 logical processors, and 8 cores. Coming to the memory, it's having 32 gig of memory, and I'm using like NVMe for as SSD. It's still installing, so we have to wait. Okay, so installation is completed, finish it. And as I told you, it is asking for reboot. Then reboot now. So basically in production, it is always recommended to use a separate machine for PBS configuration. But as we are working for learning perspective and we cannot manage the separate VM for every stuff. So that is the only reason why I'm configuring the things on my domain controller, but it is completely fine. You can also create a separate machine with PBS and you can configure the things over it. Okay. So this is just for your demonstration purpose, but always you have to create a separate machine here by name PBS and you have to deploy the entire setup on that machine. And if you will get any error, any issue during the setup, you can always ping me on my WhatsApp number. You will get my WhatsApp number in the description of this video. So let's wait for it to reboot. Then we will go ahead. Okay, so now it's rebooted now. So I have to log in again. Again, go back here and launch the console again. Again, console installation. You can also install .NET 4.8 as a prerequisites. In that way, it will never prompt you to reboot. So guys, PBS technology is very, very important for Citrix support and for kind of L2 support as well. So please make sure to clear each and every doubt which is relevant to PBS. As I told you, you can always ping me anytime on my number. I will be always there to support. So now it is installing the provisioning console. Simply click on next, accept it, next. Windows user is fine. That will be the directory. Next, install it. And finish it. So our console installation is done. So if we can see here Citrix provisioning console, but we have to set up server also. So now click on server installation, install. Now we have to configure the server, then we have to create a form. We have to connect it to our hypervisor, then to our database. Click on next, accept it, then next. So these are the port numbers that you must have to remember, and very important for interview perspective. Like for console, it's 54321. Then for target device, 6910. Then 3891433 for SQL. Multiple ports are there. You have to remember all those. Simply click on next. Windows user is fine. That will be the directory. Click on next and click on install. Finish it. Now we are into the configuration wizard. Click on next. So as I told you, it will use the DHCP services. So in my case, my DHCP scope running on this system only. So I'm selecting first option. If you have any separate DHCP server, you can select second option, and you have to mention the IP address for that DHCP server. Okay. So simply click on next. So as I told you, I'm going to configure PXE services on this machine only. So simply I have to select this one only. In your case, if you want to configure PXE services on different DHCP server, you can continue with the another server. Now we have to create a form, or you can also join existing form if you already have, but as we do not have any existing form, we are going to create a new Citrix form. Now, first we have to locate the database server, which is SQL in our case. So either you can enter the IP address or you can click on the browse. So this is my SQL server, which is running on DDC, and I have installed SQL management console in my domain controller, and I'm connected that server here. So authentication will be Active Directory only. Simply click on next. Okay. So now our database is connected. Now, as you can see here, what it will do, let me open the SQL server. As I shown you earlier, 3 database was created in SQL. So now we have to create one more database with the name PBS, correct? It's taking time to initialize the SQL Server Management Studio, but no worries. In the meantime, what we can do, we can change database name to PBS and form to, in my case, Indore, it could be your office location, your country location, whatever it is, but it should be identical. Okay. Now it is asking for a site name. So I'm configuring this for my Indore site. So let me enter here Indore hyphen site, and collection name. I'm going to use Windows operating system. So here I have selected Windows for a collection. Okay. So let me connect here first. As you can see, So far, we only have 3 databases here, right? So now, with the help of this console, one more database will be created here when I click on next. So let's check. Click on next. Now we have to select the store to store the target devices. So now what I can do, I can browse and I have to select some hard drive with space. So let's make here pbs hyphen store. I have created one folder and select that folder for store, and it will act as a store for your virtual machines. Simply click on next. So as I told you, the license server. So I have configured my license server on my DDC here on delivery controller. The port number for license server is always 27,000, and that is fine. Click on next. Now user account will be AD authenticated only. So network account service is fine. Active Directory account password, automate password, that is completely fine. Now I have to select the network streaming card. So in my case, my domain controller network adapter will act as a network streaming card. So that is fine. And these are the port numbers for console and communication port 6890 and 54321. Simply click on next. That is fine. As I told you, that is a bootstrap file ardbp32.win. Simply click on next. Again next. Now you have to create some user account. So let me create it. This is user, and let me enter some password here. That's it. Finish it. So now it is configuring the PBS, that is Citrix provisioning, on my domain controller. So let's wait for it. It will always take some time, so you must have to wait. Please do not interrupt the installation in between. If it is taking time, let it be. So that is a directory for logs. So now it is starting the network services. It is finished and click on done. So now this is done for server and configuration. Now we have to select a target device installation. So let me exit this wizard from here now. And what we have to do, we have to open Citrix provisioning console now. As we have already created a form, right click, connect to form, and here you have to enter the IP address of your PBS server. In my case, it's 10.100, and let me check auto login and click on connect. So as you can see, the site which I have created is Indore. Expand the site. Here is Indore site. Indore is my form and Indore site is my site. And into the device collection, I am having one collection for Windows. Correct. So now into the host, what you can do, you have to add host here like you can add your hypervisor here. So I am going to add Citrix hypervisor. Let name it Gen server -01. Click on next. Now we have to enter the IP address of our hypervisor. In my case, standout102. Username will be root. And let me enter the password for root user. Let me click on verify connection. It's verifying the connection. Let's see what happened. Connection established successfully. Okay, simply click on next and finish. So now what we did, we have added our hypervisor, this Gen server 01 to our PBS console. Okay. Now what we have to do, we have to add some target devices. So now as I configure this machine for the same, so I'm going to mount provisioning ISO library here. And I have already opened one remote console of this machine. So let me expand this. Okay, let me go to full screen only. So as you can see, ISO media is mounted on Win10 machine. So if I show you the properties of this machine, so as you can see, the host name is Win10-TD because I've configured this for a target device only. Okay, and in with single target devices, with single target device, you can add n number of users. Correct. So this is the only benefit for Citrix provisioning. In that way, you will be able to reduce the cost of hardware or for the VM or for the storage to align multiple or n number of users to a single disk image. Like with that single disk image, user can boot their systems, right? So install it. So as I told you, we have already done the console installation, server installation also completed. Now we have to target the device. So click on this. We have to install the target device, install it. Click on next, accept it, again next. Why it's showing username is root? Am I logged in with the, okay, it's my domain user. Click on next. That will be the installation directory and install it. Again, it may take some time for installation, so wait for it. So now we have to launch. So we just perform the installation for target device. Okay, so now we have to configure this target device to image the Vdisk. Click on next. Now it is asking for the provisioning server IP. So let me enter 192.168.10.100 in my case. So we always have to use Windows credential. Now it is connecting to the site. So now what we have to do, we have to create a Vdisk. Simply click on next. Now we have to add a target device name. So I can enter like Win10-TD-001. Okay. Simply click on next. Now just name that Vdisk like Win10-TD-Vdisk. So the store that we have created on our domain controller, available space is 101 GB. That is fine. And let me select this VHD and disk type is dynamic. Fine. Click on next. We do not want any Microsoft volume licensing. Click on next. and we have to boot the entire image. We do not want any optimization. Simply just click on next. If you want, you can select and you can configure those options. Okay, but it will take some time, so I'm going with the first one. Ready to start? Click on create. So it our Vdisk has been created. Click on continue. Now it is asking to reboot the device. So what we actually did, let me show you here. Let's go to the domain controller, and as you can see here, we have created one Vdisk. Now our target is to boot that machine with the Vdisk that we have created on PBS server. Okay, so for the same, what we have to do, we have to right click here into the properties and into the boot options, select the network and move it up. So our first boot order device is network now. So now after this, when I reboot this machine, so it will boot from the Vdisk that we have created, this disk, and it will boot from the network. So let me go back here. So now simply click on yes, it will reboot the machine. Disconnect this. And let's see here what is going on. It is restarting the machine. And as we have changed the boot order for this machine, so you will see so as you can see, it is PXE boot has been started now, and it is getting the IP address from our PXE boot server, that is domain controller in my case. Now let's wait for it. So let me undock this now. Okay, let me send Control Alt L del options. Let me enter the password. And in a meantime, if we can go here and we can, let me refresh. No, still our Vdisk is not getting the IP address. Let's wait for it to log in. Okay, imaging wizard did not restart. Please check your network boot configuration and restart the device. Okay, so this may happen with you as well. So actually, this device is not booted with PBS. So if I click here, you can see boot from local hard drive of this machine and not booted from network drive. So now what we have to do, we have to go to our PBS server, and from here, what we have to do, let me check for the option. Not this. Click on the action tab and you will get one option to where it was. Create a boot device. Okay. So click on it and let's create one. First select the IP address. For your DNS server. So in my case, 192.168.10.100. Okay. And click on next. DHCP server is always there. Disk type is fine. And click on burn. So it will create one small ISO media. So let me type boot disk here. .iso. Save it on desktop. And now what I have to do, I have to copy it to my ISO library. So here is my ISO library. Let me copy it. And now I have to mount this. Okay, let me refresh the ISO library first. Here we have got the boot disk. Go to Win10 machine and boot it from here. Now let me restart the machine. Also, let me check the boot order again. Is it saved or not? Okay, it is already network boot on priority. Now click on force reboot. Now let's see what will happen. Also, friends, those kind of troubleshootings will surely help to improve your skills. So please do not get afraid with the errors. Just perform some R&D. Okay, so now it's started again from PXE, getting the IP address. And let's see what will happen. Again, what we can check here in PBS console. Let's check this Vdisk. Is it getting online or not? Not yet. Let's wait for VM. Okay, it's booted now. Let me log in here again. Sorry guys, actually I missed one thing. I missed it. I'm really sorry for that. The reason is that we have to move this up. Again, it's booted from local hard drive only. So not a big deal. I'm also a human being. So let's reboot it again. Now we'll see what will happen. Okay, now it is getting the IP address and the Vdisk name, as you can see here, Win10 td.vdisk. This is the IP address, subnet, gateway, each and everything is visible, including MAC address. Now it is booting from that VST, this VST, what we have created here. Now let me try to refresh this. We have one server which is DC. We have Vdisk pool into the device collections. We have one device collections, as you can see here, Win10 TD001, and the IP address of this machine is this, and the Vdisk that it is using is Win10 TD Vdisk that we have created in our PBS store. This one. Okay. So I hope you have understood. So again, go here. Let me log in here again. Now we'll see the status of PBS. So basically, guys, as we have created one Vdisk in our PBS server, as you can see here, okay. So with that particular Vdisk, this is our Vdisk pool, okay. And with this particular Vdisk, we can align n number of users to use a single virtual disk, okay. So in that way, we can easily reduce the cost of storage and the cost of hardware itself, okay. So let's see what is going on. Okay, so as you can see, our Vdisk is connected now, existing Vdisk. I do not want to format it. It's taking the snapshot. And if I click here into the PBS, you can see it is active. And this is our virtual Vdisk, okay. And the IP from where it is getting 10.100, that is our PBS server. Perfect. And it is active and connected for read-write operations. So it is reimaging the target disk. So in a meantime, what I can do, let me go back to my Active Directory console. abc.com is my domain, and let me create one OU here with name PBS. Okay, so now what I can do, once actually this copying the entire image will take some time, and after that what we have to do, let me show you here in PBS console. We have to move this access mode, like right now it's private image because it's unlocked, sorry, it's locked for now because this Vdisk is getting used by this machine. Okay, so after this we have to change the access mode to production. If you click on drop down menu, you will get production option here. Okay, so I'm canceling this for now. And also if you want to add this Vdisk into your Active Directory, so you can go to Active Directory, create machine account. This is my domain, and let me select the folder, OU that I have created, and click on create account. So it has created one account in my Active Directory. Close it and let's verify it. Let me refresh. As you can see, Win10 TD01 computer is there. Okay. So friends, that is done for today's videos. In upcoming videos, I will let you know how to create a Vdisk pool and how to upgrade the Vdisk. Just suppose if you have to add or remove some applications for any specific requirements for any user, in that case, how to version the disk, right? So those kind of operations I will cover in upcoming videos. So friends, I hope you have enjoyed the videos. If you really enjoyed and if you have got some knowledge from my side, please do subscribe my channel, share my videos, like my videos. Thank you very much.